Everybody, thanks for joining me as we take a look at your work week forecast, your abbreviated work week forecast here for January 2nd through the 5th. And we are looking at a quiet weather week before our weather. We are heading towards transitioning towards a more winter-like weather pattern this week into the weekend, potentially with some snow this weekend, although that may sneak its way out to our south and our east. But some other options is that as well. Nothing like midwinter great snow kind of stuff coming up, but some transition towards a better pattern, colder for snowmaking, and also some chances of some actual snow as we go. As you can see, things are quiet across the United States. That's what's going to lead to the next 4 days being pretty quiet. We've got a storm that's going well out to sea. Still a pretty active subtropical jet stream. That's going to be the theme all winter. We've talked about that many times. But the pattern across Canada, we do finally have some cold air. It was mostly over Alaska that's starting to spill over central Canada, expanding coverage. And that is giving us some opportunities to have a little bit more cold air push into the United States. And that looks like it will continue to build over the next little bit here. We do have a big storm coming on shore across the western United States. This is very typical also of El Nino. These big storms have been coming on shore across California and the rest of the West Coast. And that also is part of what kind of helps push marine air, Pacific marine air across the country, and helps keep us from getting sometimes tapping that colder air in Canada in a lot of El Nino winters. But anyways, we are kind of moving towards a slightly different pattern, which gives us a better chance at some actual kind of wintry more weather. All right, across the country here on radar, you can see not much going on. A little bit of rain here across the desert southwest. A very weak Clipper system. This will head in our direction for probably Thursday. Will be when the front moves through. There could be some very widely scattered flurries. That's really only our chance of precipitation through the weekend, or through I should say, at least through Friday into Saturday. Is this few flurries that might head through before we, but nothing that's going to even go to the ground. Not even as significant as what happened last weekend, where we did get a few flurries and even a couple of spots got a little bit of a dusting of snow. So yeah, very weak system there. Temperatures, we're going to take a look at, still pretty, this is kind of moderate. It's chilly in the southeast, at least relatively so. Here across the northeast, we're relatively chilly, colder than we've been this morning. Not midwind, not frigid by any stretch of the imagination. 20s all the way up into central Canada. But you can see we are starting to develop some of this actual cold across the deep north here. We got some 30s, maybe some 40s below zero in eastern Alaska, northwestern Canada, and a lot of 20 below zero temperature readings across the far north. We are starting to really get some cold to develop here across far northern Canada, and that looks to continue, and then kind of give a chance for us to tap some of this cold air, or not the frigid 20 below zero kind of stuff, but at least tap some of it and give us an opportunity to have some of that kind of move in and support systems across the east, and also support some sustained cold. So that is starting to happen. It should change the pattern up a decent amount. If you can look at the part of the reason that's happening is we do not have any big intrusions of ridges into Canada. I talked about this a little bit probably on the Patreon cast last week, but a podcast, or not podcast, Patreon video last week. But what you need to develop that cold this time of year in the Arctic is you just need high pressure that sticks around for a while, because there's no sunlight up here this time of year, right? Obviously, there's basically 24 hours of dark. You just get a little bit of you might get a little bit of sun on the horizon as you head down towards kind of a little bit further from the pole. But essentially, it's dark all the time. And so if you get high pressure there and no clouds, you just radiate that heat out, and temperatures just continue to fall and fall and fall and fall. So that is starting to happen here across northern Canada. It's giving us the opportunity to build some of that deep cold, and that gives us opportunity to tap it. And really the first time this winter that's happened across the North Pole. So if we take a look at what that actually looks like forecast-wise, temperatures, as you can see, this is pretty close to average, a little bit above average probably for the week, right? Probably upper 20s is our average right now, but pretty close, much closer than we've been. Lows, relatively close to average. Lows are probably average in the teens, so the 20s are a little bit above that, but still closer to average. Not the best snowmaking weather ever, but definitely can be making snow, and the mountains will be a little colder than this. You probably knock at least 5 degrees off these high temperatures, 5 to 7 degrees off the high temperatures for most of the ski areas, and the lows 3 or 4 degrees off for the lows. So yeah, So anyways, highs around 30 today, back to about 25, 20, mid-20s tonight. Tomorrow's the warmest day of the week. We get back up into kind of the mid-30s for a lot of us, upper 30s for some of those valley locations. A little bit more in the way of cloudiness tomorrow and Thursday with the approach of that front. A few flurries on Thursday. They're widely scattered. Again, nothing to be really notice. Temperatures in the 30s behind the front that moves through with those flurries. We do get one night that feels pretty cold. Friday will feel pretty chilly in the upper 20s, and then we've kind of settle back down to about 20 on Friday night. We're setting the stage for a potential coastal system this weekend, which looks to be mostly south and east of us. I know that's hard to believe, right? Snow's finally going to come. It's probably going to come mostly south and east of us, but there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of some of the track issues and exactly how much upper kind of the system behind it will, in terms of giving us some light snow that lasts for a couple of days, goes. Timing on that is probably more Sunday. It's for Saturday night into Sunday, although we'll have to take a look at that. I wouldn't lock any of that kind of stuff in yet. Oops, before we get to patrons, sorry. A quiet weather week with temperatures near normal or a degree or two above. The only chance for precipitation is a few scattered flurries on Thursday. The warmest day of the week will be Wednesday. The coolest morning will be Friday. And our next chance of snow happens this weekend with a lot of questions that still need to be answered. But this does look like a real possibility for some at least light to moderate accumulations of snow. And this system looks like it will probably be all snow. If we get any, right? It's either does it go out to sea and we mostly miss the heavier precipitation, or does it do we get into the northwestern shield of precipitation? But if we do, we'll be on the colder side of things, and we should probably see mostly snow. So there you go. That's sort of what's going on. I'll definitely have an update on that forecast towards the end of the week. I'll have some looks at that system, especially if it looks like it's going to make a close pass at us and give us some accumulating snow. Otherwise, I will be back on Friday with a look at your weekend forecast in general that will obviously highlight this chance for snow. Thanks for supporting this channel. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. They help support what I do here at the West Weather Weather Guy. They make sure that these videos have the kind of support, the technical support and things like that I need to make them happen. Some of that stuff requires a financial investment on my end, and these people help support that, so I really appreciate them. And we will be back, like I said, or I will be back, I should say, on Friday morning to look at your weekend